then it's okay.
We can go. Start.
We can go. Hi, hey, how you doing? This is the Scene World panel for Gamescom 2021. I'm AJ, and we'll start from. I'm not exactly sure what order we're looking at people here, so I'm going to go at the order that I see them, which is we have Manu Segura from Spain. He is very well known in the Spanish retro scene. And is currently converting ZX Spectrum action games to Mega Drive. Hello, sir.
Hello everybody. Nice to see you and be here.
Also, we have Tommy Tollarico from my very own USA, CEO of Intellivision, and working on the Amico, who we've talked to last year in Gamescom, and we love to see him again this year. Hello, sir.
Hey, glad to be back. Thanks for having us out again.
And with him is Hans Ippisch from Germany, the European CEO of Intellivision. So,
thanks for having us. And
thank you for being here.
You can see the actual machine behind me and the physical
Yes.
products. So we are moving forward very fast.
That is awesome. Also, we have Oliver Lindau. He is a Vito in the demo scene from Germany. He is former graphic artist of Starbyte Software, and is converting Eye of the Beholder to the 64.
Yes, hello. Yeah, well, quite
that-
ambitious project. We'll talk about it later, I guess.
But this is an awesome project, and we and we can't not talk about it because it's a big thing right next to you. Also, we have Gunnar von Bohen. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, he is of the Apollo team working on the Vampire for the Amiga.
Right.
And which I have an Amiga 500 right here. And if you have a spare that you'd like to donate, I mean, hey, you know, I'll be happy to do a review.
A review. Let's talk about this later. With me is my son Arne.
Hello,
Arne
sir.
is 14 and is now our guy who discovered his love for assembly this year. He wrote one game which is already released and a number of demos which he released to show people how to code on the Amiga.
That is awesome. Actually, I could use that because I'm trying to learn to code on the Amiga, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Richard can help him.
Yes.
So then
yes.
you can join our homeschooling. We have a homeschooling video channel where we try to teach people how to code demos on the Amiga.
Speaking of Richard, Richard's Loewenstein of Reshoot Her fame, currently working on Reshoot Proxima. Reshoot R, it's Reshooter, right?
Reshoot Proxima 3 is the current one.
Yes. Which looks amazing because the original Reshoot and Reshooter looked amazing.
Thank you.
So we have him as well, and finally rounding out, this is Benjamin Devienne from PiePacker.
Hey guys, I'm the French token for tonight, so super happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're super happy that you are here. Who is PiePacker? For people that may not know, is a online gaming service that has like the ability to play games and also have video chat and all this other stuff. So it's, you know, bringing a lot of this stuff together.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's latency free.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you are in the world, even if you are in Peru or Chile, or in our case, when we tried it with HJ, who is in the US, and me in Germany, and there was no latency, which is the main problem of all the other servers trying to mimicking it.
Yes.
So PiePacker is really perfect in this matter.
Yes. Yes. And
thank you, Joey.
Yes. And there is also Dr. Wuro.
Dr. Wuro.
Yeah, I'm just his representative, and I'm hiding in the woods.
Yes, I see that you're hiding in the woods.
Christian Gleinser is your name.
Christian Gleinser, yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm the main programmer for Dr. Wuro, and I'm I'm telling
Prolific.
a little bit today
Prolific.
about a new upcoming game.
Yes. There's always. I feel like there's always a new upcoming game.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this game.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not just that. I mean, you've done the 4-player stuff. You know, like it's not just games. It's like hardware that goes with the games to make it really. You know, and I don't know if that's part of the newest one, but you know, that's.
You will see.
Yes. Okay. And of course, with me hosting is Jörg and Martin Wisnowski and Martin Amon.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Jörg's waving, though you might not be able to see him because he's handling the controls.
No, actually, in the large grid view, I'm.
Oh, you are
present.
here.
I'm
Okay,
fully
then you don't have to hide behind curtains like last time. You
exactly.
can be a fully articulated member of this cast.
Exactly. And our main goal this evening, and that is why the panel is 2 hours, and the second part after 25 minutes is happening in Gathertown. And
yes. We're running through. Yes, we're running through people real quick right now because the first 25 minutes is getting everybody introduced, and then the remainder of it is switched to Gathertown, where we will finish it up with demos and things like that of everybody's stuff. So right now we're
also on Twitch, I guess.
Yes, Twitch as well. Yes.
Yeah, twitch.tv/sceneworld for people who don't know. And the reason why we have so many people this year is we wanted to have services for retro vintage gamers, which is the representation by Benjamin Devienne, who is the CEO of Pipehacker, actually.
Yes.
And we also wanted to cover systems, and that's why we have Hans Ippisch and Tommy Tollarico with their new Amico system, who is trying to get, family gaming back to the masses.
Yes. Also, the Vampire is a system. There is a standalone version of that, which is its own thing.
Exactly.
So I guess you could consider that its own system.
Yeah. And also we got Manu Segura because we didn't have much input last year from Spain, what's going on there. And Manu is a big figure in the Spanish retro scene. And that is why we have more guests this year to get a broader picture, and hopefully also a brighter picture of the whole scale of the possibility. So nobody's left out.
Yes, and how all this stuff can fit together, because that's the kind of how where it's got to go.
Exactly.
Yes. So, who would like to begin?
Well, I guess since we covered systems and software and so on in the last stream last year, why not start with Benjamin?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, tell us more about Pipehacker that we didn't already mention in the introduction, and I will show people what's actually about in a little trailer while we talk.
Sure. So Pipehacker is a cloud gaming services to play retro games online with your friends directly from a web browser. And when we started to design the product, so about a year ago, pretty new company, one of the big observations we had was that when you look at cloud gaming services, they all are designed for a 4K 60 frames per second world. And this requires a very fast internet connection. But when you look at the big picture, you realize that most people don't necessarily have a very fast internet connection, and they don't necessarily have a very stable internet connection. So this is true in Europe, this is true in the US, and this is even more true in emerging markets where you have the next 2 billion players. And we wanted to build something that will be low-tech friendly. So something that will be runnable on the lowest common denominator, which is a web browser, something that will be totally free, so it's as accessible as possible, and that will not require any fancy internet. So you can actually run this in relatively poor conditions. It's still going to run perfectly fine, and you're still going to have fun with your friends. And the last thing we really wanted, and something that was kind of like in my DNA as, before working on this project on Pipehacker, I used to be the head of analytics at Facebook, and I was also the head research at Twitch, and worked like for many years on social games. So for me, it was really important to put the human in the center of the picture. So we started to equip this awesome retro cloud gaming services with a video chat and a lot of like social features to make sure that, especially during the pandemic, people could connect for free together and really have a good time.
You're talking about the idea of bringing people together, and that's kind of almost exactly what the Amico is trying to do, you know, and it's doing it slightly differently because they're going with the actual like the actual in person being with someone on a couch. What was it? The couch co-op, I believe it was the term that you used for it. So tell us how that's coming along.
Tommy, you're on mute.
Yes, you're muted, sir.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I think what Benjamin's doing for retro stuff and that is amazing. And yeah, I think Benjamin probably, you know, sees the same things that we do as well. Whereas a lot of the modern games, and especially, you know, mobile games, they seem to be more of a solitary experience these days, right? You know, and even all the simplest, most simple, hyper casual games, everything on mobile, you know, it's kind of one person staring into a screen. So the idea of, you know, people, you know, gathering to play games is our focus is more on gathering in person. We actually don't have online play available because we're more about let's get those people back into the family room, you know, kind of like what the Wii did 15 years ago, or like all the video game systems that we all had growing up were like, you know, and we always say, you know, I think our fondest memories of playing video games are when people, you know, were kind of like in the same room playing, whether it was Halo LAN parties or GoldenEye on the N64 or you know, whatever it was, you know, Super Nintendo, Mario Kart, you know, whatever it was. And so that's kind of our focus, is kind of bringing that, you know, kind of back into the family room for simple, easy to play, pick up and play games. But what Benjamin's doing with PiePacker is just awesome as well, and coming at it from, you know, a different approach. So really, I think, Benjamin, what we could probably tell everyone is that people who have an Amico and a PiePacker in their home, I mean, they got the best of both worlds, you know, in-person gaming and the online gaming as well, right? So, you know, yeah, I can't wait to check out what he's doing. I saw the Kickstarter project. My favorite part was that big glass UFO-looking dome. So I was loving the look of that. Very kind of retro, like almost 50s, 60s style. I loved it. It was great on you. Good job, Benjamin.
Thank you, Tommy. This is super kind, and I really want to, you know, highlight the fact that first of all, this is awesome to have like so many people from the retro gaming ecosystem and all these angles. And thank you, like Scene World, like for the great job, because I think like everybody here like plays such an important role for our community, like the retro gaming community and like the couch game community, to grow and be happy with like many different solutions for the many different markets they are. And it's just so awesome and so humbling to be here.
Thank you. Very kind compliment. So let's switch to Manu, because you are the first timer here from Spain.
Yes.
Talk a bit more about what you do in Spain. What's going on there?
Specifically in Spain.
First, please.
Yeah, I think I'm struggling with my connection.
It's all fine.
Are you hearing me well?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Oh, great. Then first thing I would like to say is that I'm really humbled to be amongst all these great names. I'm sorry to bring the tension down for all the audience, but I'm doing that on purpose so we can climb that down afterwards. So
Maybe he has having a problem with this.
Yeah, now you're cracking up, unfortunately.
Yeah, now he is having. Yeah, now there are problems with the connection. But he seems really happy.
That's a cool pose.
Oh,
sure.
Can you repeat, Manu, because you were just cracking up.
Let me. Yeah, let me try to change the connection. Just sorry for the
No problem. Okay,
That's
so let's move
what I
on
was
to...
just like
I'm
panels.
back in a second.
Okay, sure. So let's move to somebody else then first.
Well, we were just talking about, the consoles and how this works, and Gunnar, you're approaching it from a different way, and the vampires become kind of a something people lust after for the Amiga, because it's an awesome thing, So how, when you're looking at the way the Pi Packer is presenting games for current audiences, and then the way that the Amigo is, how are you approaching it with the Vampire?
Well, me and the rest of the Apollo team are all Amiga fans which grew up with the Amiga, and our goal is to revive the Amiga. So our heart is 100% for the Amiga, and we all love all those jump and run games, 2D games. And you might know how the project started. We started with an Atami many years ago, and we spent quite a lot of work on re-implementing the Amiga chipset, re-implementing the Motorola CPU, which is needed for it. We're working right now on improving the free Amiga OS, Aerospace, new Amiga OS for the public, because we believe these three things together will allow the Amiga fans to revive the Amiga. This here is our box, which can bring Amiga games back into homes. You have the typical DB9 plugs to connect your trusty old QuickShots or Competition Pros, but you also have USB plugs, so you can connect modern PlayStation or Xbox controllers there. And you have Ethernet in it, so you can also play multiplayer games. We are right now developing a number of games. Arne did develop, my son here, dual player Tetris game you can play together, and which he made available for free this year.
Nice.
So our focus, at least my focus, is a lot on playing these old games, two-player games I like very much, like Bubble Bobble. I love playing Bubble Bobble for hours. And Deluxe Galaga, these kind of games which you enjoy together in front of one TV.
Wonderful. So before they cut off in 2 minutes, Manu, try to start again. What you wanted to explain?
Yeah, second try here. Second try. I was just going to tell you that we are just building games. That's our passion, and we don't really care about the platform. What do I mean? That it's not about if it's modern or it's vintage or retro or whatever game. The thing is that it has to be fun, and we are unfortunately or not professionals. So it happens that on the vintage platforms, we have the chance to have, let's say, smaller games in scale. The machine itself has ourselves controlled in the terms of the scales of the game, so we can concentrate in make them as fun as possible.
Yeah, thank you. So let's just tell people before we get cut off, go to the Cyber Lounge above the booth in Gather Town, please, because there we start in 5 minutes our second part of the live stream, and then we can hear more stories from Manu, from Benjamin, Richard,
This
Christian,
was just to get everybody hooked. Now everybody comes in,
Or if you are not on Gather Town, please go to Gather Town. It would be cool because we can then also talk with other people. But if not, then also Twitch/SceneWorld. There you can follow the rest of the panel.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the two possibilities. Thank you and goodbye.
See you soon.
What a nice cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we switch. Okay, so we are live.
We are live.
And we are live back in Gathertown now. So all of our friends that are visiting us there, welcome back. If you missed the first 25 minutes, I'm sorry. Again, we're here with Manu Segura, Tommy Tollarico, Hans Ippisch, Benjamin Devienne, Oliver Lindau, Richard Loewenstein, Christian Gleinser, and Gunnar von Bohen.
Nice. Wonderful.
Yes. Just a quick recap for anyone that may have missed that the first time around.
Right.
And we were talking to Manu.
Right.
So,
and
yes.
Manu, please share your screen because you are going to tell us about your current project while you share your screen.
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. I've got a couple of things prepared.
Sure.
It's not too much. By the way, you can hear me. I can hear myself.
We can hear you. We can see
hear you
We are
perfectly.
just waiting for you to share your screen.
I'm not sure. This might be my fail. Sorry.
What I'm saying. So many of you maybe know that we made one game for a Game Boy. It was our first
1 second, Manu.
game.
We
in,
don't see your screen yet, by the way.
No, because I'm not sharing. I was going to make an introduction.
Okay,
yes.
Sure. Go on.
But I don't know what's happening. I hear myself topple.
We hear you fine.
Did you open the Twitch stream, maybe?
Does someone has the Twitch stream open?
It was myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Wonderful.
I'm the newbie here. So, what are we doing right now? We made last year a Spectrum game. We used an engine that it was already built. We used that one group of very good friends of us called the Mohon Twins. They built an engine that served ourselves to make our first Spectrum game. We are a team of kind of a recent formation. And, well, it was a game that I'm going to show you now. So I would like to show you. Sorry, that I'm a man. I can only do one thing at once.
Good. It's all good.
It's all good.
Can you hear? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
yes.
looking great.
This is Tollarico, our first game.
Tollarico.
Yes, it's game where you have to rescue people inside caves. It's a Spectrum game, so it should be kind of simple. Many of you maybe have seen it. Because you can download it for free over the internet. I can maybe provide the link it later if you want to try it. I would like to show you the Spectrum game and then the Mega Drive conversion, because after we've got this game developed, we wanted to port it over the Mega Drive just because we don't have any engine there, and we wanted to learn how to actually build the game. So
and that's
you
That's a pretty hefty thing, because going from a Spectrum to a Mega Drive that's for the Americans here. That's the Genesis, Sega Genesis.
True.
That's that's a 16-bit system that is way more advanced than the ZX Spectrum.
Yes, you will see that we've got finished the part where we translated, let's say, the Spectrum game to the Mega Drive, to the Genesis machine. And it looks basically the same, except now it has a scroll and music. But it's the conversion thing was a kind of an excuse to build an engine to make our own games afterwards. And what it really happened is that after we were close to finish the Mega Drive conversion, we really thought about we could do a much bigger game than this, based on the same mechanics, where you have to go on labyrinths, controlling, basically the story of the game is controlling the inertia, the momentum of the ship.
Yes.
And
kind of a space taxi kind of sort of thing.
Thrust 2 was also a similar game. And after we were close to the finishing of the Spectrum conversion, we wrote, how it is called in English, a document for a new version where we are going to make a bigger game with 16-bit graphics, music, sound, and scale, let's say, for the game. So we already started with this conversion. The engine is practically built. We are now busy on the new features. Maybe I can show you later a little bit about it, but it's still. Oh, I died! Oh my God, I died on my own game. That's a shame.
That's the thing. Playing and talking live in the same time.
Yeah,
not easy.
That's what I do wrong. Both things. I'm playing lame and saying stupid things.
Never mind.
No, that's really complicated.
No.
So are we actually looking at the Mega Drive conversion right now? Is it still the Spectrum game, the original?
This is the Spectrum version. Yeah, I muted it just for you not to be maybe over pressuring your ears.
The Spectrum is not renowned for its.
So, do you
fabulous
have a
audio.
sneak peek for the Mega Drive version already, or not yet?
Yes, I've got it prepared also.
Okay.
I just wanted to play some levels for you to see that the labyrinth thing is increasing on its difficulty. You're adding enemies, then you're adding doors, you're adding the lack of fuel, because you have to be careful also on your fuel. And basically, we took great care on increasing the difficulty for the game.
Nice.
How long did it take to make this game?
It took around 5 months. Maybe you can add a little bit more, because I also took great care drawing the cover art, which you can also find online on the page, which these friends of us are hosting the game. And by the way, I would like to say, if you allow me to make some promotion of it, that we presented to a contest for games built on this engine that we won.
Wonderful.
And there was a few months ago also a contest for the best Spectrum game. We were 8 from almost 300 games. So we are really proud of that.
That is very nice.
Thank you very much. I think you have enough of this Spectrum thingy. Maybe you can see it, you can think it's really too old. Then I'm stopping sharing for a second. I'm preparing the Mega Drive version.
Sure.
Which, by the way, I would like to say that I've been tweeting some things on screenshots, some short videos, descriptions on Twitter. But this is the first time that we show the game live running on an actual emulator. And this is a world premiere for you.
Wow, an honor. Thank you. Well, I mean...
The honor is mine. Thank you very much for inviting us.
No problem. So, speaking about conversions, perhaps we should now jump to Oliver Lindau.
I think we're going to the yes.
Okay, you are quicker in preparation than I thought.
Yeah.
Even better. Even better.
Okay.
Awesome.
I had already everything prepared.
Oh, wonderful. I didn't know. Okay. My bad.
We love it.
Maybe I should mute this also. Oh, let me show you the intro.
No, we don't hear it. It's all good. Just go on.
You don't hear it. Oh, it's a shame, because we synchronize the music with the things happening on the screen. You see the ship appear now.
Yeah, but you should mute it because your microphone is going down. Yeah, now it's better.
Yes, I already muted it. As I told you before, we are taking the opportunity and building this game to learn. So we learned about building transparencies here, that it was known to be kind of very difficult to make. We brought really big sprites animated. We synchronized animation on the backgrounds that they are using the 61 colors that it's possible now on the screen, kind of easy. Synchronizing the frames for the buffer to work correctly. And I have to say you sorry, because you can see the A and B buttons. These are really placeholders. They are very ugly graphics that I will fix hopefully soon. And this is how the Mega Drive version looks like. You would say, oh my God, this guy is almost the same, no? But you can see, you cannot really feel that the game is really playing much more smoother. Yeah. But now you will see that we added some scroll.
Yeah. Yeah. And the color clash is gone, or
the color clash is gone. Is gone. Because this is really an excuse for building a bigger game. We are adding also fades, fade in, fade outs. For example, if you go to the game over screen, we also took down the opportunity to build particle engine, everything built. And this time we had no engine for building. We had to code it from scratch. But hopefully we are building better games for it.
This is fascinating. This is a fascinating concept of doing it like this because, there is, like they mentioned, the color clash is gone, but it is still sort of simulated in that, the blocks are different colors. So it looks like the Spectrum game, but at the same time, it's unique from the Spectrum game.
Yeah, the graphics are taken directly from the Spectrum graphics. All the maps were also taken directly from the Spectrum maps, and we even sampled the I was going to say the noises instead of the sounds, but maybe it's even more accurate, right? The noises and everything was taken directly from the.
But that's an interesting way of doing it, because normally when you think, like a Mega Drive conversion, the first thing that came to my mind was, usually they way overdo it with changing the graphics and making it look like super modern or new or whatever. Yeah. And this is like this is the same game, and it's
same game, but it won't be like this, because if you want to see a little bit of a spoiler, oh damn, I died. If you don't mind, I'm killing myself for you to see the particle engine, but the actual Mega Drive version will be really using all the colors and possibilities on the screen, and also on the I clicked it too fast. This is the problems of being live, right?
Yeah.
We are really aiming to build a 16 megabyte. Building a game which the Mega Drive owners will be proud of, not only a Spectrum-looking game.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
all right. Okay. So right there, like with the smoke, that's a different effect than you would have seen on the Spectrum. Yes. A lot of times in the translation, they lose some of what made them a good game to begin with, because it's, it's changed a lot. They've made it look different. They've changed some of the mechanics and whatnot, and in keeping it, you like you said, this thing won. The competition came in 8th out of 300 or so. So I mean, it's already got a winning strategy. So
in this screen, I can also show you. I couldn't prepare anything better, but for example, this ship is also prepared. It's now prepared to be a 16-bit ship, where you can see all the animations that it's also already smooth and prepared.
Right.
Some colors are also changing, but basically this was built to show the animation, the new animation for the ship. Okay, guys, I don't want to steal you more time. I think this was enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was amazing.
Yes. Well, well, some would say perhaps it's interesting because people wouldn't think about it. For example, in the case of the Intellivision, you are not really converting games, but you're also creating new games. Perhaps let's Hans talk a bit about the aim of in Amico and Television when it comes to that.
Yes.
Hans.
Well, basically, the idea of Amico is what is retro about Amico is that the great times we had when we were playing together with our friends and the family in the living room. That's what is really retro. We want to bring back that feeling. But all of the games that we are having, you can see here the physical products already, they are really completely new design and developed products, taking some old great ideas, but all of them are really completely new and up to the latest standards. And I can tell you who's the mastermind behind all of the games. That's Tommy Tollarico. He's really behind every single game, and that's really very, very special because it's not. I think we all have the same target group. What I think is the same, that probably many people out there, they just don't want to play a current PlayStation 5 game. Not because PlayStation 5 is bad. Actually, we all love PlayStation 5 and all that stuff. That's great. But there are millions of people out there that really would not dare to touch a controller because it's too complicated. It costs too much money, too much time. It's really, and you won't play it with your children or your grandma or whatever. And Amico is really something different. It's really anybody, you can play the game and join the game at any time. And that's the great idea behind that. And I think that's also what Benjamin is talking about, the target group. I've seen Earthworm Jim in the trailer, if I've seen it correctly, and I've seen also Worms in your trailer, and I've seen Sensible Soccer. To all of these guys, by the way, we have been talking to, and the one guy that made Earthworm Jim together with David Perry and Mike Dietz and it's Tommy. So basically, we have the same target group, and that is the amazing thing about Intellivision Amico, that we are looking at the same target group. And what I would say is that anyone who loves your retro games will love Amico, but we also know that if it's core players, I have my two sons, and they are 15 and 19, and they love, for example, because tomorrow I will be in Munich at the studio, and we will play Astro Smash. So we were testing all the games, and they really love playing Astro Smash, and they love playing pool, because probably that's the best pool game that you will, I would say, I have seen for a long time, because we really take advantage of our controllers, and that is the great thing that makes Amico unique in a special way, because the combination of the hardware, up to 8 players, the controls, and that's something that makes Amico something very special that cannot be compared to anything else. And so. And the good thing right now is, but you were asking the question, when will it be released? The good thing is, it's standing behind me. The games are basically finished. The physical goods are here. It's a shrink wrap. So, but let Tommy tell you when we are going to ship it.
Tommy, tell us.
Sure. Put the blame on me. No.
You're CEO and president, so basically that's your job.
Fine. Oh, you're president of Europe. You take it. No.
Well, I ship it tomorrow. I ship these tomorrow.
Right. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've encountered a lot of the component crisis that's been happening all over the world, from everything from cars to thing, and the biggest challenge for us has been, because we have a color capacitive touchscreen and we have 2 of them on each of our controllers, and those are the things that are really the crystals that go into into those types of things. It's very, very difficult to manufacture, especially when you're a smaller company like us. So we have certain challenges that we've been dealing with, and so we're trying to get out some pre-orders by the end of this year. That's our goal. You know, we're going to ship when it's, you know, when we have the best available launch, you know, window, you know, because we don't want to, we're trying to do a soft launch, but we can't, you know, things are so expensive and so high priced, and even getting stuff from one dock to another, you know, overseas, has literally, you know, multiplied times 10 in regards to the cost, has doubled in the time it takes to get there. So, you know, we're caught in a tough place where we wanted to, you know, launch a brand new video game console. Launching a brand new video game console is way hard, way difficult to begin with, right? But now to do it over the last year and a half, you know, makes it even that much more, you know, challenging for us. Again, especially because of the touchscreen and the technology that we have in there. So, you know, it's been challenging. It's been challenging, and but you know, here we are, still surviving and still climbing to the top of that mountain. And so, yeah, we hope to have pre-order units out by the end of this year. We can't promise anyone at this point because we just don't know. You know, we're trying the hardest we can, and it's, you know, we have an amazing team of people. We have over 60 employees now, and we have like a full logistics team, and all they do all day long is, you know, there's 700 parts that make up an Intellivision Amico. Over 100 of those are electronic. And so, you know, constantly, and literally the parts thing and the way, how crazy it is, it changes from week to week. You know, how can you get parts here? How can you get parts there? You know, we've had 100,000 purchase orders and pre-orders already, you know, for Amico, and we're just not able to produce 100,000 of them, you know? Right. Can we produce 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 of them? You know, can we get, you know, 30 chips here and 100 chips there, and then 500 over here, and then these parts here and there, and we try to kind of put them all together. And then at what cost, though, right? So, so if our unit's $249, but because of the way the market is right now, it's going to cost $700 or $800 to put out 300,000 or 400,000 machines. Well, then that becomes, okay, can the company absorb millions of dollars in losses to get a couple thousand out there? So it is a really tough, you know, from an executive standpoint. And I'm being as transparent as I possibly can, you know. Not fun conversations to have, but the truth, you know. But you know, when Hans was talking, though, because you were talking about retro, what I always say is that, you know, the whole idea and concept behind Amico was to use like retro sensibilities, right? All of the things that we all knew and loved growing up, simple games, turn the thing on, you can start playing, you know, doesn't take 2 hours to download a patch or a firmware update, or, you know, physical games aren't just a CD, plastic CD case with a disc in it. You know, we're trying to do all these different things that brings the industry and our ecosystem back to the way things used to be, you know, in the 70s, or more like the 80s and early 90s. That's, you know, because we feel that was like a really amazing era of gaming, where it was more simple, where more casual people played video games. I think all of our parents probably played a video game, or Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man or Space Invaders, or maybe it was Super Mario Brothers or Tetris or whatever, right?
Right.
And that just isn't happening as much these days anymore, which again is why I applaud Benjamin, because I think, you know, I think he would, you know, probably say that, yeah, you know, having those easy, you know, better, you know, going back to a time where games were more simpler to pick up and play, and anyone can jump in and play. You know, that's the big difference that me and Hans and the company and the data has been showing us, where, you know, there's 200 million hardcore gamers in the world. That's if you take all the top 3 consoles and PC gamers. Yet there's 3.1 billion people in the world who play simple to easy pick up and play games on their phone. But of course, phone is a solitary thing. Right. And games on the phone, let's be honest, most of the majority of games that are made for mobile are designed around trying to suck as much money out of you as possible, or throwing you a 30-second ad every 3 minutes, you know. So we want to get back to the way things used to be, because we think there's a lot of positives from the 80s and 90s that we can bring into the future.
And there is a chip shortage and all that, because you would think with the pandemic, like, this would be a perfect time. Right. Like if it, if it was on sale now, it would be great for now, because people are stuck in their houses and Right.
To give you an idea how crazy the times are, basically, if you read the newspapers, even the assembly lines of Volkswagen, BMW, and Audi are currently standing still over here in Germany. Yeah, and if these billion-dollar companies don't get parts, and the crazy thing is, even for a simple cardboard, there is a shortage of simple cardboard, because all the recycling paper is going to China and America, and there is cardboard everywhere is shortage. I can't tell you what's inside, but everywhere is shortage. So it's really probably the most difficult time to launch a console, but you can see it. We have this here, and so that's it's worth the wait, and we have a lot more surprises. So probably what's inside the box.
Yeah, we literally have millions of dollars of inventory just sitting in a warehouse right now, waiting so that we can get the machine out there, so that we can do the other stuff. But
well, guys, I'm so happy that especially Hans, I saw your videos and photos that you are so much emphasizing physical media. That is something that is missing in many consoles nowadays, except the Switch. The Switch also has physical releases, and perhaps let's jump.
Who also has physical releases is Dr. Rura.
Right,
Christian Gleinser.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to jump to. Because in the last panel, last year, you said you are actually working on a new 4-player game.
Yes.
So maybe tell us a bit about that, Christian.
Did I really tell that last year?
I told you, we have it on video. And
we have proof.
Actually, I have to admit, the game that I'm currently working on, it really started 2 years ago. And I had a very serious issue in that game, and I didn't know how to solve it at that time. But now I'm back on track. Maybe to join into the family friendliness, I will just present what we have been doing in the last years, because we have a similar philosophy, although we are not developing new consoles, but we are developing for a very old console, or better, it's a home computer. So our games are mostly for the Commodore 64. And so if there's chip shortage, you can still go to your attic and try to find your old C64 and
it also works as unofficial backdoor pitches to any console that might want to carry these games to completion.
By the way, we should mention here, I don't know if we mentioned it before, but Benjamin's PiePacker actually has the ability to read physical cartridges in the PiePacker USB reader, right? I don't know, Benjamin, what's the name of that.
You've got it.
Pi reader.
Do you have
or
it?
Something? No, not yet.
Well, it's the Pi reader.
It's the Pi reader, right? It's not ready yet, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's coming.
You were
soon
holding something.
Okay, so about the game, so I'm just going to share my screen for a second.
Yeah, sir. Absolutely.
So Benjamin, you need
hopefully for more than a second.
You need to focus on emulating computers too.
Oh, hi, it's us.
In the future.
I will ask the engineering team. I'm sure they will be happy about this.
Well, Benjamin, we'll need to talk offline at some point so that we can get all of the original and television games part of PiePacker as well. That'd be pretty cool.
I will love this. Plus, I know that you're a big music and a person and a cool musician, so I would love to talk about this too.
Totally, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you can see right now.
We can see the Dr. Vero Industries Gamescom booth.
Okay, so I wanted to give you a small flashback to already 2 years ago. Okay. So that was our booth. We have another picture, so you can see there's many people, and you can see it's all kinds of ages, or mainly on these pictures, I selected some with very young people. So you can see that young people are interested in those kinds of games, and the games we played there. For example,
you won't believe it, but I think I am on one of those photos in the background.
that's possible. We can review it. We close the circle in 2 seconds. So that was one game of us. So you can play with 4 players. So that's a thing that we love to do. You are controlling a frog, and you can throw the other frogs into the pond, and that's mainly the basic goal of the game. The game is called Frogs, and we have another game that is a little bit more violent, but of course it's very cartoonish violence. So you're running around in a maze, and you have to collect guns and shoot the other players. So it's basically something like Quake 3, but in 2D, if you could say that. And
wasn't there a Christmas version of this?
Yeah, there's also, you can see it here. There's also
okay.
So it makes it even more family friendly. So the basic philosophy behind those games is that you can really immediately pick it up and play it. You don't need long explanations. There's also not many bonus items or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's really no need to read a manual or something like that.
If I may ask, by the way, I mean, last year, Tommy, you said you are interested in porting those games from Question Dr. Wu also to the Amico. Did anything come after that? Or do you have any news about that?
No, not yet. I mean, we don't really have, kind of, pixel style games on the console at this point. And the only reason for that is that we don't want to confuse people because of the name Intellivision, old game. We don't want people to think, oh, it's like an Intellivision Mini or a SNES Mini, and all these flashback units that are out there.
He said SNES.
SNES, yeah, it's SNES. This SNES Mini, yeah.
Wonderful.
But I think some of these designs with updated graphics and stuff, it's something we definitely want to talk to developers about. But at this point, our main focus is just to get the product out there and the launch titles. We're currently working on 50 games are in development, but we're really focused on the first 20 or 25 to get out there for launch. So we need to do that first, but then we'd love to talk to everyone here on the panel about doing stuff for sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so basically, as I said, the philosophy is very similar, and it's of course in our case we make old school games with pixel graphics, but of course it would be possible to present the same game with updated graphics. That's of course not a problem, but the cartoonish nature is still, in my opinion, an important thing, because there's also nothing in the game that confuses you. So we don't use too much scenery stuff and too much details and so on, because we don't want to dilute the clearness of the gameplay. So we usually only add some little details and not too much. So that's basically one of our philosophies. Mm-hmm. And as Jörg mentioned, there is a new game coming up, but we decided to not show it yet because it's not quite there yet, but it will be soon available.
Wait 3 days.
So we'll perhaps stop your screen sharing and we talk to Oliver, because his game.
Well, can we say anything about the game? We can't see it, but can you tell us anything about it?
So you you should see a tomato now.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
This tomato is part of the game, and it will be for 4 players again. And this time it will be even. It will have a single player mode. And it will also be the same fun as with 2 players as also with 3 or 4 players. So there's no difference in the gameplay in that case. And it's about jumping.
Awesome.
So if you like this tomato, you can follow our social media in the next
I
week.
wasn't sure if tomato or
I do like
ants.
I do like tomatoes.
It's a tomato.
Ketchup.
Okay, so I will stop my
Lovely
screen share now.
batches.
Okay.
Actually, my girlfriend grew a lovely batch of tomatoes this year.
All right.
Rather fond of them.
So, well, as
Yes.
I said, let's move to Oliver. He already prepared his screenshot.
Yes.
Well, thanks. I have to say thanks for all the patience in the panel. I know.
Yes.
We have 2 hours and we have to jump between guests. So thanks for your patience. We will everybody let speak. That's
Yes,
our goal.
we're trying to get everyone equal time.
Yeah. I mean, we
And
really
ask
wanted to get the
questions
whole
that-
picture, even
Yeah.
the Amico, because despite it's not really retro, it is retro in a way that you are doing things.
I'd say it's retro in that it's like Tommy said, it's like that the feeling of the way that we used to play games rather than that is a form of retro.
Right. Anyway, Oliver, it's your turn.
Yes. Can you switch my screen to full screen? I don't know how to do this.
No, we can't, unfortunately.
You just share
okay.
your screen and
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oliver's working on converting out the beholder,
Okay,
which is
now
a
we see you in
Yeah.
full. Now we see you in full.
which
Okay.
is extremely
Wonderful, it's working.
Okay. Yeah. As you can see, I'm working mostly on games for classic systems. At the moment, it's the port of Eye of the Beholder to the Commodore 64. It's not the only system I'm working on. At the moment, there's another project for the Vectrex, for example, or we are doing something for the Atari Lynx. But this one is the biggest one at the moment. I will show you the introduction at the moment for first, so you can see how it looks like. The main goal of my team, or all things I'm doing, is not exactly to do something you can sell. It's more like projects I want to do as a hobby, which can be done as a hobby, but same time are quite ambitious. So mostly my intention is to push boundaries on these systems. And what you see here in the Eye of the Beholder part is not very common on those 8-bit platforms.
And having played this on the Amiga, I mean, this is almost pixel perfect to what you see on the Amiga.
Yeah, it's a bit different. The resolution is lower, and the Amiga is one way to show animations. But here it is. Every scene you see is a different approach how to do things, and that it's possible that way. The project itself, it lasts about 3 years right now. The game itself is finished.
No.
We are currently working on some polishing graphics that items in the game are more clear to see because sometimes the low resolution and the color palette is a bit tricky in this case.
Polishing even more. Congratulations.
Well, it's more like how I work. As you see, this scene is not that fluid in the original. It's how I do things, because when I don't like something in some material I see, then I need to change it up. So I go to the game.
Oliver.
Wonderful.
And as you can see, it's a mouse implementation here.
Oh, so you're using the actual mouse on the 64?
Yep.
Yeah, the 1351, yeah.
Yes, yeah, nice.
Not many games used it.
Not many games used that at all.
Did, and
oh, look at those colors.
I know. And there was one game I remember, it was a Fairy Tale Adventure that used both the joystick and the mouse. That was a weird one.
Shadowfire used it too.
Mm.
Yeah, and this is WASD controls combined with mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And there are all features implemented in the game of the original, plus some stuff like auto mapping.
Amazing.
Check out where it's.
Okay, wonderful.
And also 2-button support, like the original, that you can switch over to all characters.
Does it come on a floppy drive disk?
No, just only on cartridge. Floppy disk would be too slow, because what you don't see here is that every frame you move would be a loading time.
I see.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
It wouldn't be possible.
Okay, Oliver. Well.
Yeah.
But you've got many. You showed us some of the when we spoke to you previously about it. You showed us some of the methods in which you had done this.
Yeah.
Which was like every part of the game has a unique method to it, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I can show some stuff here.
But perhaps let's do that later, if you don't mind, because we would like to jump on to the next guest, I guess, now.
Yeah, okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Which? Well, you first
have
to stop sharing your screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's.
Which I was gonna say, Richard.
Right.
Because...
And Richard, he was a competitor of Hans Ippisch back in the publishing days.
Yes.
So those two guys know each other pretty well.
I remember Hans, but I don't remember that we competed actually. I think we were good friends. Yeah, we had a beer every day.
Didn't you?
But probably not.
Yeah. Oh, you are now you are muted.
Lordy.
Now you are muted, Hans.
I'm not drinking a lot of beer, but I think what we can say is that we had probably similar jobs. He was also developing games early on. He was editor of Amiga Games magazine, and so basically we were doing very similar stuff and tried to sell more games or more copies of a magazine. So I think in the end we are quite similar persons, I would say.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last time that we spoke, you were working on you had just released a Reshooter.
Yeah.
And now it's Proxima. So how is that progressing?
Well, it's progressing well. It's, I would say, probably half a year till release. So
okay, awesome.
Well, I mean, that's 3 years in the making. That's okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were, when you develop a game, you always learn, and you always think, hey man, I should have included that, I should have implemented that, this could have been like that, if I only had more time. And then you develop a second and a third game, then you try to implement what you learned, and that's how Reshoot Proxima 3 came to be, because I wanted to implement stuff that I couldn't in Reshooter.
Right. I also remember us I'm trying to get you, talking about an Amiga release for that one as well.
yeah. But as Tommy, as you already explained,
you're trying to make deals constantly here, you know.
No, actually, it was you, Tommy. Last year, you took the initiative and said like, make sure those people get our email addresses.
Yeah.
Actually, we talked about it, but life went a different path. Yeah.
Different path, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Is there anything you can show us from the new reshooter?
Well, actually, people are looking at the trailer right now.
They are.
Yeah. I'm totally prepared. People are already seeing it.
Apparently, I was not, because I did not look to my right.
Well,
Morgan Just Games saying on the stream here that Reshoot 3 looking fantastic.
Yeah.
And amazing work by Richard and his
love
team.
shooters.
Let me ask you something. I would like to know, because looking fantastic, the game closest to my heart for the Amico would be Earthworm Jim. How far has that progressed yet, Tommy? Perhaps you can tell me about it, because you are the original composer of Earthworm Jim, actually.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, again, Earthworm Jim is a game that was never going to be available on launch. So, we're focused on the launch and the hardware and all that stuff. So, it's progressing very slowly, because we're pulling a lot of the people who worked on the original Earthworm Jim are, helping with things like our user interface, buttoning up, adding really cool things to the existing games that we already have, redoing some of the art for things like menu screens or the controller screens and animations. Just now that we have, more time, we're pulling resources to put them on things that are, that'll make the launch even that much more great. So kind of spreading out the resources, because now we have a lot more time to work and finalize doing Earthworm Jim. So again, we never wanted to come out with Earthworm Jim the same day as the console. That'll be like a year after. So probably Christmas of 2022, if I had to guess, but really I prefer not to guess, because, it'll come out when we're finished and when it's ready and when we feel it's an awesome product, not because, we said some deadline for whatever. But in a perfect world, sure, it'd come out next Christmas. But if not, we're fine with that, because we know that whenever it comes out, it's something that we're all going to be, the whole team is going to be, very proud of. But yeah, 7 of the 10 people who worked on Earthworm Jim work with and for Intellivision right now. So it's pretty cool. So instead of all of us just focusing on one game, we're kind of like, okay, let's put all of our energy and their talents and everything across as many games as we can right now. So it's been really cool, because the quality, I mean, Hans has been in a lot of design meetings with developers, and having the Earthworm Jim team be in those meetings, helping out, teams that are only 4, 5, 6 people, and kind of bringing our team in to be a part of their development team has been really positive. Wouldn't you say, Hans?
Absolutely. I mean, everything you see from coming from Intellivision, if it's physical products, the packaging, the user interface, and every single game. In every single game, Mike Dietz is our art director, and nothing will be published without Mike's approval. That's and even Tommy doesn't override Mike. And then we have at Schofield, we have Mike Courage, and in the back we have also David Perry. So basically, and it's so amazing to see that input. And I mean, that's how I got to know David Perry and Tommy, because I did interviews with them, because I love the Earthworm Jim, and really these people are making the difference. And so if some people say like, oh, these are not very good looking games, actually they are really good looking, and everything we put out, it's really amazing, and that's what Tommy meant. So the good thing is all of them are working basically for Intellivision, but right now all of their energy is going in everything we are producing right now. So, but it's, I mean, and also, to be honest, Earthworm Jim is probably the most important product for us after launch, and because that will be the product that will be, we know that from all the press releases. For example, we are doing all the tracking, and every time we have something about Earthworm Jim, there are millions and millions of page impressions only generated by Earthworm Jim. So we know how important that product is, and this product could sell millions of units of our hardware alone. So that's why we are very, very careful with that product, and it's going to be great. Right. That's for sure.
Now, Gunnar. Now, the product that you had that you showed us before is that the V4 standalone, correct?
Yes, that's right. Our goal is to revive the Amiga. I'm part of a bigger team. We are over 20 people working on this for nearly 14 years now. We have reinvented the Amiga and have today the most fastest Amiga you can buy.
Yes, it's the 68080 as it's presented.
The main board looks is pretty small, but it has 1,000 times more memory than the Amiga 500 has. It's about 300 times faster. Internet built in, true color, 16-bit audio. So the dream Amiga everyone wanted to have.
Right.
Commodore unfortunately never built themselves.
Yes.
I have a question to Richard, because we mentioned music a couple of times with Tommy. I don't see Martin here. I don't know if he left, but
yes, Martin had something to take care of.
Okay, so I will ask you, Richard, instead. Tell us a bit about the music challenges, because Hans spoke earlier about the hardware challenges, you know, and Tommy spoke about the release challenges and the physical media challenges. And I know, because I know Martin very well, that it was a challenge to get all the music in the limited space of memory. So I would like to ask Martin, but as he had to go, perhaps you can jump in and tell us a bit about it.
Oh, there are lots of challenges of implementing music into an Amiga game. One of the technical challenges is that the Amiga features 4 sound channels, and in an ideal world, you would like to have uncompromised music playing together with sound effects, uncompromised too, and but that's just really a challenge, and that's why many Amiga games in the past had music or sound effects, but not both together. Only the best games could play music and sound effects. The reason for this is that most musicians actually need all 3 or 4 channels that the Amiga features. While Martin was able to work with just 2 channels, which is an amazing feat, and he also was able to arrange the music in a way that it takes up just 1/10 of the memory that the Amiga 1200 has. So it's like 150 kilobytes, and that's very minimal amount of memory taken up, and everything else can be used for graphics, for sound effects. And I can also play sound effects on 2 channels, which means we've got full music, full sound effects in the game, but it was a lot of work, a lot of tweaking. Martin, I don't know how many iterations of just one soundtrack he had to make so that it really fits into memory, that it fits to the sound effects. And that's also, you got to work well together in order. I mean, if I'm talking to Martin and I'm asking him, hey, can you please make that a little bit smaller? Can you change that? Can you change this? And asking him that like 100 times. And you really need to work well together so that it works out in the end.
I would like to know more from Benjamin's perspective, because Benjamin, you are basically focusing on arcade systems and consoles. Why not computers yet?
This is a more complex system to approach. Like computers in general come with a lot of like different configurations, but there is also a legal aspect to it. It's much easier to deal with, manufacturers than it is with some PC manufacturers. So we're definitely looking into this because we care a lot about offering a solution that is fully legit and supporting the ecosystem. But this is definitely, as a gamer, a dream I have to support also computers.
Okay. Yeah, well, you heard from Tommy. He would love to see the Amico in the clouds, and Hans is already smiling as I say this. So,
well, to be clear, the original Intellivision stuff in the cloud, not the Amico stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Perhaps on the long run, who knows? I know it's a different concept, but why not? And here's the thing: we are talking a lot about couch co-op, like as I said, the old Amico and the new Amico. And one thing that I found very interesting, Benjamin, we had a podcast interview together, like I did with all the others before. And when I asked you, do you support multiplayer, multi-tab, anti-CPOL, and all this, you already said, yeah, it's all covered. It's all covered. So that was for me personally amazing that you got it all covered, because many services, they leave out the multiplayer bit because it's too complicated and so on. So how do you approach to make sure that everything works in the cloud?
Really quickly, Spooky Swadloon on the Twitch chat mentioned that there's, if Amico players could invite their friends to play via cloud streaming, that would be cool.
You see? You got a reason here, guys. Now Tommy is thinking.
Yeah, it's like,
I have maybe something just like a game designer perspective related question.
Yeah.
Maybe first because Manu, you already showed your process of just like starting small. I mean, maybe some people know something just like game DMake, so you go from a higher level platform to a lower level platform, and you chose exactly the opposite. So
yes.
which I find it's quite an interesting approach. And now if I look, for example, at the Vampire, to connect this so that you have all of a sudden from our Amiga, all of a sudden a Dream Amiga. What maybe to you both the question, what would you expect? How the game designers will react on this?
Yeah.
Maybe I can share my view here. In my opinion, the bigger platform makes a lot of things much more easier. Like Richard said, you are limited on the classic platform with memory, with number of audio channels. So you always have to do compromises. And the musician also spends a lot of time, in my experience, on these compromises, or waste a lot of time. So if you have suddenly 10 times more memory or 1,000 times more memory, and you have more audio channels, like the Vampire has more audio channels than the Amiga has, but they are working just in the same way as the Amiga audio channels. So the programmer suddenly don't need to do any compromises anymore. He can have perfect music and perfect sound effects without wasting time or energy or brain power on trying to figure and squeeze it into 2 megabytes of memory. So you have a lot more time to design the game and to make the game nice to play and enjoyable. So your focus can be different.
You really nailed it too, because, like in the early 90s, working on the Game Boy and the NES and then the Genesis, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, the time that was spent on creating the music, that you had a block of time to do that, but most of the time that we spent and other audio folks back then spent was getting it to sound good. It wasn't writing the music that was the hard part. It was using these archaic audio drivers from back then. It was I have this beautiful thing in my head, and then you put it in a MIDI format, and then you put it in the machine, and it's like, oh my God, this is nothing like what it sounds like. And so, spending hours and hours and days trying to get what you hear in your head to sound like something that's coming out of, a 4-voice, sawtooth, saw wave, audio chip was always the hardest part. So yeah, having extra channels, having more stuff like he was talking about, it gives a composer, an audio designer, a lot more time to work on the stuff that's important, which is the creative stuff, as opposed to the implementation stuff, which back then was always the biggest challenge.
Anyway, Benjamin, you got interrupted. I'm sorry. Anyway, yes, I asked you, how is your take about the implementation in the cloud thing? And as Tommy just mentioned new games, you're actually doing your own game for the PyPacker system. So perhaps now it's your stage. Sorry for the interruption earlier.
No worries at all. It's like super interesting to hear everybody. And just to answer your question. So first of all, yes, we do our own games. The first game we built was a Bomberman style game called Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Bomber. So it's if you watch the Netflix TV show on Arsène Lupin, it's always hard to pronounce for non-French people, but this is an awesome show, and we were very glad to see they were using the same license and book than us. The reason why we do this is because we really believe in the idea of different and novel ways to play together. And one of the ways people use today to play together is through Twitch. And right now, the way they do it is pretty simple. Everybody has probably heard of Twitch Plays Pokemon, which is a Pokemon game running on Twitch, and all the viewers in the chat could vote every 2 or 3 seconds for the next move. And we love this idea, and we were like, oh, this is a new way to interact with other human beings. We should do something similar. So we had this Bomberman style game, and this was during the Gamers Without Borders events in partnership with the eSport League, the ESL. And we had 4 streamers, superstar, playing the Bomberman game. And in the center of the screen, you had this UFO. And the UFO was controlled by the viewers, the chats. They had a voting system. They could move the UFO with the voting system every 2 or 3 seconds. And the UFO could drop bombs or bonuses on the streamers playing live. And we really like this kind of very disruptive ideas. And we want to do more of this. And this is why even though we love retro games, we are doing something similar as the Amico. And this is why we really respect their approach, to also modernize this idea of couch gaming and using some more modern elements while still keeping the spirits of retro game. I think this is a great approach, and this is why also multiplayer is at the heart of the strategy for PyPacker.
I like how you complement each other, Tommy and you, Benjamin. Like, both systems' ideas are awesome, but from a different perspective.
Consummate professionals.
Yeah, I
Everyone
mean that
is
exactly why we have this broad panel today, to show the different perspectives of all the possibilities for people in my age group. I think last year, Tommy, we had a discussion what the main age group is, and our estimate was 10 years difference,
I want to get back to the Vampire, however, because we were talking about the V4 standalone, but there are other models that are not standalone, and just how do they compare to the standalone version?
Well, as you might know, or maybe not, right now, 2 accelerators. You speak about the accelerators for the classic computers, right? Yes. Our goal is, of course, to also revive or continue the usage potential of the old Amigas,
which I love, because that's the one thing that the two warring factions of Amiga, Hyperion and Cloanto and whoever is owned whatever, nobody's moving it forward. It's just kind of like, here's an emulator, play a game, and the idea of moving it forward is fantastic.
We used to have these V2 accelerators, Vampire 2 model, which had 128 megabytes of memory. And now this summer will come out V4 models of accelerators. These have 500 megabytes of memory, basically the same features as the V4 standalone. So you get 100 megabyte megabit Ethernet. You get USB for connecting modern joypads, which is very nice for playing games with more buttons, like playing Neo Geo games, for example, on the Amiga.
The Neo Geo, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have a Neo Geo emulator ported to the Amiga, and because the CPU is so strong, you can play Neo Geo games on the Amiga.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Metal Slug is one of my favorites. And so these accelerators give a lot more horsepower. They have 16-bit audio. Of course, they have true color video also. And the new model for the Amiga 500 is called Firebird. We have prototypes here already. We are hoping to start shipping next month. In opposite to our IntelliVision friends, we planned a lot ahead and stocked a lot of parts for those accelerators. So we are continuously producing the V4 also in these hard times right now where you can't get parts because we have collected huge amounts of stocks for producing them ongoingly. So you can buy them on our web shop, www.apollo-computer.com. They are on stock. And the accelerators for the 500 should be coming out in the next 1 or 2 months. And for the 1200, the next model, we hope to get out around Christmas, which again has the same features as the V4. So you're also able to play those new games which we're producing for the V4 on those machines.
Now, does the 500 the version for the 500 does that give it the much sought after AGA capabilities?
Yes, this is correct. The machines include the Super AGA chipset, so you can play all Amiga games, OCS, ECS games from the Amiga 500 or 600 or from 1200 on them. But also you can enable the true color modes and play new games like Jake and Peppy, true color game.
Awesome. And that means that we can play Reshooter, an AGA game, on my Amiga 500.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I desperately want to do.
Actually, I want to tackle something. I mean, Benjamin, for example, he mentioned that it's very difficult to get computers emulated because of licenses and copyright and so on. And I think, Richard, you actually told me like some years ago that it's very difficult to get it running in a browser emulation, and you told me you are actually working to make the Reshooter games in a browser, right? You told me you are using an alternative, not the original Amiga OS. I always forgot what the alternative is.
That's the Arrows.
Arrows,
the same one that
Yes,
Gunnar
yes.
uses. Yeah. That's like a free OS version, which can be run on any Amiga emulator to at least make games work.
Okay, good. Well, guys, may I ask you, Hans and Tommy, how about the hardware of the Amico? I mean, what is running the system on? Because we didn't really hear much about it. I mean, not me personally. I mean, we are talking a lot about controls. I mean, you Hans, you showed the system, but what is inside actually?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's not, unlike Intel, it's not what's inside that's important to us.
Okay.
And again, it's a very different way of looking at things. And I'm not trying to dodge the question. I'll tell you what's inside, but I just wanted to preface it by saying that we live in an era now with game consoles where it's like, well, how many gigawatts is this, and how many teraflops is that, and boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. And look at the way the sweat beads down his face, and look at the way the texture of his clothing, and all that's cool. I mean, I think we all love pretty and amazing graphics, but that doesn't go far if the game is crap to play and the controls suck and it's not fun and it's complicated and this.
Oh
and
yeah,
that.
that's one of those things where it's you can always say, like, you can look at something like Super Mario Brothers was a fairly simple game, but the dynamics and the gameplay were beautiful. Meanwhile, we played a couple years ago this game called Claw Hunter, which was absolutely gorgeous and great graphics and almost completely unplayable.
Yeah. It's a shame. And so for us, our focus is on gameplay, easy to use, easy to pick up and play no matter what your skill level is. But the number one thing is the game fun or not? We don't care what it looks like. We don't care what it, obviously we care a little bit about what it looks like. We try to make the games
Richard,
look
I
pleasing.
think you are disturbing with your keyboard a bit.
Sorry.
We hear keyboard noise.
But we have an
Hans,
8-4.
Hans, you have to unmute yourself. You wanted to interrupt Tommy. You wanted to say something.
Tommy, let me add one thing, because that question. When I was editor-in-chief of Ensum, the best-selling Nintendo magazine here in Germany, and they were about to launch the Wii, I was always asking them what hardware does run inside the Wii, because I was also editor-in-chief of a PlayStation magazine, and I told them, listen, with that kind of hardware, if you don't tell us, you probably can't compete at all. So if you don't tell us what hardware, and they never told me what hardware it is, and in the end, you know the story, what happened to Wii. It was the best-selling console of that generation, and that's the reason why it doesn't matter what hardware you have. It's really about the products. And also, when I played the first Wii game back then, 14 years ago, more than 14 years ago actually, and it was like, okay, that's a totally new experience, and I never asked Nintendo about the hardware again.
But that's exactly the reason why I asked you. That's exactly the reason.
But let me answer the question, because I don't want people to think I'm dodging it in any way. But that's just our philosophy. Our philosophy is fun, gameplay, playability, design. That comes first. But it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip. It's a 1.8 gigahertz 8-core processor. We have 32 gig of RAM on boards, which stores up to about 50 games. But we also have a slot in the back, a micro SD slot, which you can also upgrade to whatever you want. You can get 16, 32 gig for, I think, 10 or 15 bucks at this point, right? So, if you wanted to put 128 there, you could, probably store, 200 games or whatever. Because, so that's kind of, we have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, we have LED lights inside the console that interact with the gameplay as well. So when you're playing a game and, if it's your turn, the whole console lights up the color of your player or your vehicle or whatever. Your controller lights up that same color. It's all air cooled. So the way it was designed was, passive cooling, so that we don't need spinning fans or this and that in there at all, which is another big advantage of not having like a massive, mega processor in there. It's interesting when you look at Nintendo as a perfect example, which Hans mentioned. If you look at the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Wii, and even going back to, their NES consoles, the chips that went into the NES console were actually 3, 4, sometimes up to 5 years old at the time that the console, came out. And I think Nintendo proves it more than anyone, where it's not necessarily the speed of the processor, it's how fun the games are. And that's something that Nintendo's always done the best.
Gunnar is nodding here, so he is agreeing. I
wanted to mention something related to this, if you allow me to make a little interruption to you. Is that a little bit related to what Tommy said. I really don't like people using the word simple as negative. There is a lot of people, especially in modern gaming, using this word simple game as a negative thing. I am proud to say that simple games are great, and I would really like people to use simple as a great word to define a game.
Yes. I love that so much. It's like sometimes when people try to diminish us. They'll say, "Oh, look at those games," because the Qualcomm Snapdragon is an ARM-based processor as well, right? So people might say, "Oh, look at those games. They look like mobile games." I'm like, okay, so that's a compliment, because 55% of the entire money that's made in the industry is made from mobile, and 3.1 billion people like those games, but only 200 million people are playing the photorealistic one. So I take that, I guess that's a compliment then. Oh, your games are simple and they look like mobile games. Yeah. Cool, thanks. Mission accomplished, because that's who our target market is.
Exactly. If somebody says yours is a simple game, then say thank you.
I would like to ask more about the hardware, and I would like to start with Benjamin and then with Christian, because Benjamin, we mentioned at the beginning of this round that you can actually read your physical cartridges. How does this work? Because it's not available yet, so how can I imagine? And are my save games safe that are stored on the cartridges?
The way it works is pretty simple. They have been there is a lot of like cartridge dumpers that has been around for a while, and this is a very similar system. We basically dump the ROM and the SRAM, so we can also access the memory. It's just a reading process, so there is no possible harm for the cartridge in itself. It's a very we understand very well this type of mechanics, and it's not something that is particularly new. What's new is the way we handle it. The way we handle it is we made it very simple and connected to your web browser. So we done this in the RAM of your computer, and this is also a way for us not to duplicate the RAM. It's depending on the regions, the legality of ROMs may differ. So we try to be as transparent and keep things as strict as possible to help people to enjoy their physical games on PyPacker without any problem.
Awesome, thanks a lot.
Benjamin, I got a quick question if I could about that. If I had a cartridge from, like, let's say Super Nintendo or Mega Drive Genesis, and it had like a battery backup so that I could save my level data or high scores or season or whatever, when these or let's specifically say PyPacker, is that something that is also downloaded like your save states, or do you have to start over? I'm curious about that.
The SRAM, so the save of the game, is accessible. So we also download this, and you can play that. The big, and thank you. The new stuff is that you can play this game with your friends over the internet, and this is what's kind of new is like, and especially during COVID, it's always great to do couch gaming, and when you cannot do it physically or when you have a curfew like in certain countries, it's great to be able to still plug your favorite game in this device and be able to just send a link to your friend, and your friend can play with you over the internet directly from a web browser. So it's kind of the vision for the pirater. It's not something we plan to commercialize. We did that for the Kickstarter. We have no intention of, doing hardware. As Tommy said, this is a very complicated field, and even with like a device as simple as the pirater, it's been already like a very long and hard path to make sure that we could deliver what we called a love letter to our fans, because this was something we did for the fans. We asked them like, what would be your wet dream as a gamer? And they were like, oh my God, I wish I could use my cartridges on PyPacker. And we're like, okay, we're going to do it. We will lose money. This is definitely a bad business stuff, but we do this because we love you guys. And this is also why we did this as a one shot.
Awesome. So yeah, well, as I said, I would like to ask Christian, because I think last year you told us that the new game will also be 4 players compatible. Will it be again on the cartridge with this adapter included, or do you have the same issue of chip shortages?
we don't have any issue with, and I'm touching wood, I don't know if I can say this in English, regarding the chipset and everything, because we use very, very simple off-the-shelf, components. It was more about the engineering around this and how to put this together. So far, no problem. The Pyreader includes 4 USB slots. So if you have an adapter for your favorite, controller or original controllers, you can definitely plug this. And we put a ton of work on drivers. So we literally have a team working on drivers to make sure that the most exotic controller is going to be compatible with our system. It is already compatible, and if one of your controllers is not, we have a Discord channel, and which is like Discord/PyPacker, and you can just ask support, and we are generally very quick at updating the drivers, so we make sure we can support original controllers too.
Awesome, thank you. Chris, your turn.
Yeah, so we released this cartridge a few years ago. And you are talking about this one, I guess.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So the reason for this cartridge is the 4-player games. Normally on the C64 you can only plug in 2 joysticks, but there is a adapter that looks like the upper part. And someone else developed that. It's available from Protovision, and you can plug it into your C64, and then you can plug in 2 more joysticks. And the games from us, the 2 games we showed earlier, they support that. And the reason for this cartridge was to have all-in-one package. So basically, the games are on the cartridge, and the joystick ports are inside. And at the moment, the new game, at the moment, we only focus on the software development because the hardware stuff is done by other people. And at the moment, we don't plan to release just this game as a cartridge. So our current plan is to develop one more game in the future, which is not clear yet what it will be like, but it will be another 4-player game. So once we have 4 4-player games, the plan is to re-release this cartridge together with a partner, with a publisher that contains all 4 games and the joystick ports that will be in the future somewhere. And let's hope we don't have chip shortage at that time anymore. So, but I cannot foresee that. But it needs another game. So it's at the moment it's not. We're not in a hurry yet.
I would like to jump to Richard because we were talking about the future, and Reshoot Proxima 3 is actually going in a different direction, not horizontal but vertically. Why is that?
For a technical challenge, basically, it's no, really. I mean, it would be boring to develop a horizontal shooter 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And that's why I changed direction. Also because Kevin, who's the pixel artist behind the game, he already had some visuals which would fit a vertical scrolling shooter, and that's so I wanted to do one. Kevin already had some graphic sets available. That's a fit.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, Oliver, you wanted to show us a bit of more gameplay.
I would like to ask Richard something about his game, if this is possible.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Richard.
Hey.
We are both Amiga fans, all 3 of us, and AJ also, I think, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I like your games. They look very nice, and it's cool that you continue making games for the Amiga in that pace, like every
3 years.
New sequel. What I would like to see, to be honest, I would like to know if you plan this. What do you think about making 2-player games? Like you spoke, right? The guys here told us about 4-player games. Your games are single-player.
Yeah.
If you, like me, have a son which is sitting next to you on the Amiga, having a 2-player game would be a much more enjoyable game to me. What do you think about that?
No discussion. Of course, it would be nice. As you know, it's a technical challenge on the original hardware because you've only got 8 sprites and you have to really think hard about how to use them. And the compromise of having a 2-player mode like Battle Squadron, for example, has it, to me, it's too hard. I mean, in Battle Squadron, they do it like that when you play 2-player mode, each player ship only has 3 colors, and that just doesn't fit. If I would do that, I could do that, but it just wouldn't fit the overall appearance of the game. Also, Proxima 3 really puts a lot of bullets on screen, and if you had 2 players, it would essentially double the amount of bullets, and that just would be too much. But
on the vampire, perhaps it wouldn't.
Probably not, yeah, but I don't have one, so I have to really make do with what the Amiga 1200 features, and that's 8 sprites.
Thank you. Well, Oliver,
for a shooter, the only vampire is missing from you making a dual-player game. So if we send you a machine, you could make a dual-player game.
Well, that and a bit of time.
Right. Oliver, your stage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mentioned before some various techniques we used for realizing such a project like the Eye of the Beholder. I took a scene from the introduction here, and I'll switch over to the full screen. I think it's better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not sure. Do you see it?
Yes, we see it. All clear.
Okay. As you can see here, it's the city zoom scene, and there are 3 things going on here. The first thing is with this sphere, which is done with sprites, which has similar restrictions as Richard said for the Amiga, but those sprites are multiplexed here, so you can fill up way more space. The next thing is this zooming part, and this is exactly an animation of character sets. And those are prepared that 2 frames would fit in 1 character set, and this is streamed the whole thing here until the final scene, which is done 2 frames, which can be animated. I have to go back to the front. You can see here slightly moving sprites, and that this doesn't look too monotonous. You see here that there are parts of the screen masked. Mm-hmm. And what happens here in the final product is that those are randomly animated in forms of these colors. So it's more like it's just 2 frames here, but actually in final there are 16 frames going on.
Right. Awesome.
Those are things which are happening here, or something else here. The sprites are overlaid so that they looked way more detailed than usual on a Commodore 64. And as you can see here, also with offset definitions and stuff. And the main thing is that these need to be masked here also, that it looks like that they are walking into this castle. So there's a part here which is also masked, that those objects are cut out in not a rectangle shape. They're So it looks more like diagonal here.
Awesome. Well, I mean, time is running short. Perhaps we should wrap it up now.
Yeah, we should probably let everybody let
mind,
people know where they can.
Well, I mean, we spoke so much about new console systems like the Amico, new cloud systems like like the Pipehacker, or new releases like Christian from Dr. Ruhr Industries and Richard Loewenstein going a different direction.
I wish we could sit here for 3 more hours and dive into everything with everybody.
Thanks again for your patience.
I know.
So let's talk about it. Hans and Tommy, when is your system getting released? I know you had a few you had a few pushbacks
and where can people go to learn about it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Intellivision.com is the place where you can go to check it out, learn where you can, pre-order. Our YouTube channel is really great. We've been doing videos for a couple years now, and we're about to be showing a whole bunch of new gameplay, in-depth gameplay videos of some of the upcoming titles. And the way we're approaching this actually is not only having, doing kind of in-depth and how the controller works and why it's unique and all the different parts of the game, but we're also, but we're going out and showing complete strangers, having them play the games and showing their reactions, because that's the biggest thing for us is when we bring it to a public place and hundreds of people play it and they all freak out and they love it. That's the best. Me and Hans talking about how great it is. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You guys are the president of the company. Of course you're going to say great things.
Actually, that's a trailer that I showed. People's reacting and saying like, wow, it's wonderful. It's really fun to play. So people saw the trailer. Thanks a lot for your insight.
Those two places, but like I said, we're trying to get out as pre-orders by the end of this year. We can't promise anything. It all depends on that stuff I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I mean, that's if not Christmas with the pre-orders, we hope to have 100,000 on the shelf by Q1 or Q2 of next year. That's the goal. So yeah.
Richard.
No, really quick. For Oliver, there's a question in the chat. Is a physical release planned for Eye of the Beholder on C64?
Not exactly a physical release. We will do some cartridges that are capable for the game, but we cannot do a physical release because of copyright issues.
Yeah, the same mentioned. Yeah.
Right.
Oliver, how long did you work on it?
Personally, 3 years.
So much detail in that game, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But all the products and games here are amazing from my perspective, anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I invited every of you, to get all the amazing products and services in it.
This, by the way, was also some feedback on Twitch. I guess especially Andy Parator just thought, and I'm thinking the same. All work you did is really amazing. And I can just agree with that.
So a compliment to the whole panel. Amazing,
yes.
Amazing, yeah. Well.
Yeah. So moving on.
Richard,
so since we just mentioned Oliver, where can people go to learn about his stuff? Like Oliver, where can people go to learn about what you're doing? The website?
Well, I'd say go up to demo scene events, learn people there, try to do some stuff there, and you will learn something how to push your own stuff that you're satisfied while you're doing, and then pushing the limits of a system. I don't know exactly a place where to learn how to make games or exactly the way I did, because this is more like an evolutionary process. I started making games in the early 90s, and I'm doing this stuff back. I rejoined the scene back then in 2008. So I've been. That was decades of learning.
But you have a Twitter at C64 Pixels, and that is actually what the question was about.
And there was a question in the chat right now: is where can we watch Hans demo the Amiga tomorrow?
Hans.
This is going back to Hans. Where can they see you demo it tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm gonna be at 7:30 at the show, and I'm going to show basically some physical products, and we're going to talk about Amiga only, and if we have time we will play Astro Smash at the end of the 30 minutes slot. So Sven, and Jo Hesse, and we will play Astro Smash. And to jump onto the show tomorrow, and then you will see.
Yeah, and you will be on the live stream, and the
Yes.
URL for that is actually now.gamescom/community/retro.
Yes.
So that is where you can see Hans. That's a URL, just in case you didn't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was So Oliver's Twitter. This is now turning into a sloppy mess of an ending, but that's...
never mind. Well, it's the first time we are doing this. This is Test Balloon this year.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Benjamin, where can people learn about PyPacker?
Just go on piepacker.com or pp.fun if you like the short version. Everything is there. No subscription, nothing. It's free. Go check it out. Let's have fun. We also have a Discord, and it's a great place to find other people to play with. If, like me, your friends are not always connected or ready to play, I always find new people who share the same passion to play retro games with me.
Awesome.
Great.
Excellent. Richard, where can people learn about Reshoot or Proxima?
You can always check out YouTube and Google and search for Reshoot and leave a thumbs up. I'm happy about that. Or you can visit www.patreon.com/Loewenstein, Loewenstein, and that's where I'm posting updates on the game.
Excellent. Christian, where can people follow what you're doing?
So our games are for free download on our website, drguru.com. You can see it also here, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. And if you're from Germany and you want to see other discussions about all kinds of C64 stuff, you can also find me in the Forum 64, and I'm a very regular user there.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Gunnar, where can people learn about Apollo, and where can I sign up to get one?
Our website, our web shop is called www.apollo-computer.com. There you can see the products, there you can order them. You can buy a fancy polo shirt or get a complete, fully pre-installed machine with 128 gigabyte, with games and everything ready to use. Just plug it on and use it. Before there was a question where you can learn how to program in school.
Yes, your son needs to teach me how to do this.
we have a Twitch channel where we every 2 weeks have an online course teaching people how to program, how to learn assembly, how to make retro intros, make retro games. The next episode will be in 2 days on our channel. So if people are interested in learning,
I feel like a kindred spirit, because I learned assembly language on the C64 when I was about 14.
Me too.
so now at 43, I'll be learning it on the Amiga from a 14-year-old. So that's
awesome.
Well,
let's full circle. And then Manu.
Exactly.
Yes.
Shame on me. We get so obsessed about just creating the games that we forget about our advertising or social media at all. We were talking about yesterday, we need to make official Twitter account that links also to our website. We've got nothing because we are still young, but we promise to make a lot of noise. Maybe you can follow our personal accounts, because we are going to make an advertising about company Twitter account, for example, very soon. I'm sorry about doesn't having much more details, but we will try to make some noise about that.
So Tommy,
just for now, just for now, you can follow our personal accounts.
Yes,
and we're advertising.
No problem.
Yes.
Tommy, your turn. I mean, we learned where Hans will present the physical product tomorrow, but where can people find if they are not around tomorrow?
Find in television?
Yes.
Yeah, television.com, and make sure to sign up to our mailing list. And also, the Intellivision, the official Intellivision YouTube channel is a great one to subscribe to, so that you get to see all of the videos that we'll be putting out over the next couple of months.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So thanks a lot. We are a bit
Thank
over
you,
time,
everybody.
but I want to take the time and say thank you for taking the time and patiently waiting till it was your turn. I know it's a big panel, and
it's a big panel, and we've tried to get to everybody and give everybody equal time because we love all of you.
AJ,
yes,
Jörg,
Richard.
I wanted to thank you for being such kind hosts, by the way, and all the other guys behind the scenes who are not on this panel right now, but who also did their job to make this possible.
Right.
It's really great to be here.
Right. And of course, we will put links to everything in the YouTube version that we will release after this, because I made a local copy of this panel. And,
absolutely.
So everybody can go to Manu's personal Twitter, Hans Ippisch's presentation link afterwards, Tommy Tollarico's US Intellivision homepage.
We'll say it like we do on the podcast. We'll put links to everything in the podcast description down below.
Exactly. And of course the Apollo team will be mentioned too, so everybody will be mentioned. And of course Oliver Lindau.
Yes.
So maybe last announcement from Scene World.
Yes.
If you have the time tomorrow, come to the virtual GatherTown booth. From the virtual area, we will have a booth party there with live music from Remute and Eltress. Come together, drink a virtual beer with us, and have fun, enjoy. You will find
hit the Z key, the Z key rather, on your keyboard.
Virtual and the physical dance.
Makes your guy dance,
and the party starts 4 p.m. in Central European summertime. It ends at 10 p.m. That's our program.
Oh, and there's a puppy.
Yeah. Hans's dog.
Enzo is joining us.
Enzo.
He wants me to go for a walk with him.
Oh, okay. Say it's our fault because we were delayed. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody.
Oh.
Great.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
It's a secret dog.
Thank you.
Yes.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for
Bye.
sitting with us. Thank you very much.